Peter, Terry, hey, congratulations on your new film, Strange Harvest, Occult Murder in the Inland Empire.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is such a wonderful film to watch a very different type of film.
Thank you.
I almost thought that this was real at first, but keep on back in my mind, this is not real. But first of all, it is premiering at the Fantastic Fest later on this month. How do you guys feel about that?
Yay.
Terrible.
Horrible. No, I'm absolutely thrilled and stoked. Fantastic Fest is a festival me, as many genre people and horror fans and whatnot, fans of fantastic cinema, I've heard about that festival for years, and so it's amazing joy to have our premiere there. I think that the Fantastic Fest crowd is gonna love this movie. I think it's like tailor-made for a Fantastic Fest crowd, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I love that it's a genre-leaning festival that we're getting our premiere at. That just me makes a lot of sense. And the film itself is not it's not as hardline slasher typical trope kind of horror films. There's something special about it. So it kind of straddles this line between genre, but just an overall really interesting, in my opinion, indie film, almost experiment, you could say. So this is like the perfect place for it, for sure. So I cannot wait. Mostly I just can't wait to hang out with these two knuckleheads,
We had fun.
Most excellent. Stuart, let me throw you the first question. Where the original idea came from for Strange Harvest?
It's weird. It's just like this percolation of different ideas, I guess, I've had in my head for the last like 10 years, I think. My first film, Grave Encounters, kind of was a found footage film, but we had certain elements of like a documentary kind of in it. And I always just thought it's a interesting way to approach a horror movie. It's kind of a different point of view than you usually get to see, and it sort of gives you an opportunity to analyze a horror scenario in a way that you just can't just normally do it in a more conventional horror film. So I always just thought it was a cool way to do it. And then it was kind of during COVID when Tiger King became this huge phenomena, and it just occurred to me that like the people were just so primed and ready for true crime. True crime was huge. It was everywhere because, at its core, Tiger King, even though it's pretty ridiculous, it really is a true crime story. So it just felt like the timing was right, and that it was a story that would be accessible finally to people. Like the true crime was popular enough that there would really be an audience that would be there that could appreciate it, I think.
So true, so true. Terry, Peter, what initially drew you both to that you wanted to participate in this project?
Well, you want to go, Terry? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go after you.
You want like we'll do like rock paper scissors. It was I mean the audition initially drew me. The idea to audition for a major part in a film is just super exciting for any actor. In this particular case, actually, and to that point, for a lot of actors, the fact that it actually might be a good project is just such gravy, because most of it's just like, oh, it's an audition. With this, for me personally, I got a chance to read the script, and I was really invested in the story, and like couldn't put the script down, and like I had to go out, and then I came back, and I was like ran to where it was so I could see what happens. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm actually auditioning to play this guy. And then a sense that you have, because I can't speak for Terry, but it's probably true. There's a lot of stuff I audition for that I go, I don't see myself as this. Like I don't think I'm the right casting for this. With this, from the beginning, I'm like, I'm this guy. I absolutely know how to play this person. And I also love the directive from Stuart. We're looking for micro expressions. You have to be believable as a real person. And so just so much about it just drew me in. The style of film, the story itself, the quality of the writing. There was no moment that I was reading it where I said, people don't talk this way. Good dialogue or good monologue. For a lot of Terry and I, it's all just monologues. It's hard to find. And Stuart's a great writer. And so, yeah, all those things drew me in.
Terry? Oh, I think she froze.
I've been told, you what? Oh, sorry. it's all, to me, it's all about the characters. And it's such a, not snotty, but it's such an, first of all, you can't really pick and choose in Hollywood. You come out here and you're like, you get what you get when you audition for things. And I've never lived my career that way. I just started coming back around and doing a bunch on camera stuff. I really pick characters. I really resonate with the role, and I get my mind on it, and I go, well, but in my mind, there's Carrie Coon out there. There's Frances McDormand. I know I'm talking about, but those are my idols. These are my indie career idols. And I always wanted indie career. Everyone's like, my acting teacher would say, you're going to get a sitcom. And I'd be like, F you, that's not where I want to go. I want to be known as an actor. I want to be, you know, I can be funny, but I want to be serious. I just resonate with roles, and I dug this role. I liked her. I mean, I played her as real for me in my mind. I'm not so sure because you don't know 30 other actors audition. You only know what you're putting in. So the director, the writer's the one, you know, and the casting are the one watching it going, oh, she kind of brought something different to the table. But you don't necessarily know that going in. You just know whether you like a role and whether it feels right and whether you resonate with the character and you really freaking want to do it then, you know, and you can't kind of drop it out of your mind. You do. You read for a lot of things that you're like, it doesn't really fit me. But I love these. I love the indie world. I really do. I'm so glad now I never made it to like huge mainstream. I like working with different writers and directors that are smart, that get the work, and that you just have a great experience on set and you're getting to do good work. I mean, I like that.
Well, Terry, you're talking in the past tense. There's still a chance you could make it in the huge mainstream.
Yeah. By the way, in my 60s, I said it's so perfect for a Capricorn. I don't even care. I go, well, first of all, she's an actor that talks about her age. I go, that is not right. You're not allowed to do that. But I'm booking things that are younger, not because listen, hey, bring it on. I
Yes.
revel in this shit. I love the indie world. I really support it. I love everything streaming now. I mean, it's a perfect time. It couldn't be a more perfect time. These networks are eating up streaming, and the streaming is monetizing better than the film. I don't mean to negate the film business because it's phenomenal in theaters, but there's something about the streaming world that just, and this film especially, this has got life in it. This has got life now, but it's got life for a long time with things. So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Stuart, there's so many challenges in this film. Not only that you have to film this in a documentary style, but you know you have to use different types of camera works, and I'm actually astonished on the different cadavers that you actually brought onto this film. Could you talk about all these challenges?
Those were cadavers.
Well, not real
I
cadavers.
talked to a few of them.
Yeah, that's true. It was yeah, it was definitely a challenge. I mean, it's just, you know, like it to present it as if it's a real documentary. Real documentaries are usually composed of a bunch of different, you know, different formats. You'll have people's home video footage, you'll have stuff from the news, you'll have people's photographs, you'll have you know, stuff that the documentary makes, whether it's like maps or graphics and stuff like that. And yeah, there was just a ton of different stuff that had to be produced. But the funnest stuff to me is always like when you're trying to recreate reality in a way where it's kind of messy and ugly. So some of the, you know, some of the camera work you know, is deliberately bad, basically. And it's something that I learned on Grave Encounters, was just sort of learning the art form of filming something shittily, making it look bad on purpose, because is kind of like is difficult in and of itself. Just like how both Terry and Peter were just talking about performance and kind of those micro performance, and how difficult it can be to really recreate reality and create a performance that's just totally believable when it's under the scrutiny of a lens that's just right in your face. I think it's the same thing with trying to recreate some of this documentary stuff. Is it's people just are have extreme media literacy now, and people just have good bullshit detectors for when something is fake or when it feels corny, or you're just like, there's something about that doesn't feel right. So that's
Very
always the
true.
challenge with this kind of thing, is just whether it's the news footage or whatever, just trying to present and capture this stuff totally authentically. That was the challenge.
Peter,
And you
Terri,
did it.
and he certainly did. Peter, Terri, you know, the monologues, by watching this, you would think monologues are actually pretty easy. Was it a relief to act in these monologues, or is it really challenging because of you know, sort of the it's basically the performance base.
Oh no, there was no relief at all. You know, I literally, I think I had something like, you know, I can't speak for the page count for Terri, but I know for my character, I think I'm on 70 something pages out of a 90 something page script. And it's pretty much, I don't think there's any scenes where Terri and I are having a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think so. It's
No,
all just...
I mean, we improved a few times, right? When we're just detectives looking through a scene, but that's, you don't hear that, right? You just see us kind of doing our thing. But no, for me, it was very lonely. No, it was a lot. It was a lot of memorization, and also for me, like I wanted to come through for Stuart. You know, I wanted to show up on set and be ready to go. There was a really sweet moment that meant the world to me. It just set the tone for this whole process. Other than how much fun, as Terri said, the set was. The very first take of the very first day was literally my opening. You know, introducing my character, introducing himself. And so I did that monologue, and then Stuart yelled cut, and he came over and he just gave me a hug. And I think in his mind, holy shit, this just might work. And in my mind, it was, oh my God, I'm not going to screw this up for this guy, you know, at the same time, because it's just you know, and then Terri had to do her version of this. It's just you in this huge space, and that all you feel the weight of the film on your shoulders when you're doing these monologues and you're telling this story. So, I mean, it's also difficult to do scenes with other actors and eye lines and business and things like that. But this was uniquely challenging, and in a fantastic way.
We had, you know, yeah, what was interesting about it for me, I think, was the internal life of the character and the external of what you shared. And you don't always, I mean, you play that in a scene when you're with the character with another actor and then responding off of them and playing in the moment. I just was as present as possible. I really had no other thought in my mind of, and I wasn't sure how this was going to play out either. I don't know. We didn't really have a discussion about it in detail. But when we got to set and everything was set up, it created its own life that it became part of making of the movie. And yet you were kind of breaking the wall and having an interview style, but I was just recreating the life of having lived those moments in reality and retelling it and trying to have a fine balance between hanging on to the emotional part of it, of taking certain moments of like when it really happened, you know what I mean, with the beats and the life of it, and then telling it. So I don't, yeah, I guess it worked out. Yeah. I have to say too, I was, you know, you don't always know how something is going to play. But when we saw it and after it's done, you go, holy shit, it did work, and it plays and it's real. And there wasn't one moment of like, I didn't buy that, you know, which is very important.
I want to just jump in there too and just say I want to give just huge cred to both of these actors in front of you, because it is a huge ask to be like, you know, I mean, obviously I had conversations with both Terri and Peter where we talked about the character and about the approach and how we were going to sit down and shoot this stuff, but it's a whole other animal when you basically get there on the day and you're kind of like, okay, nice to meet you. Like, how's it going? Great. So here we go. Sit down. Like, are you ready to do like 15, 20 pages of dialogue? I remember working with you, Peter, and we ran however long. We did a long section probably where you were talking for like maybe 10, 15 minutes just straight, like a really long take. And it was like, you did it, you nailed it. It was amazing. And I was like, all right, great. Are you ready for like the next section of 10 pages or whatever? And you were just kind of like, You
No,
were
I
ready.
remember you guys at the end of the first day, you were like, yeah, that was great. I think tomorrow we're going to try to get from page 30 to page 80.
Right. And you were just like, let's go, let's do it. And
I
and
mean,
it was just,
yeah.
yeah, I was very lucky though. I just want to say I was very lucky with both these actors because they were super game and they could do it. They nailed it. I mean, they were up for the challenge basically. And I think many actors would have stumbled and fallen much very early in the process. And they were just champions the whole way through.
So true,
Thank
so
you.
true.
You're
Well,
so
this is like everyone, thank you very much for carrying this conversation about this very captivating, strange harvest. And plus, you know, where else we would ever see a film watching things happen in San Bernardino besides on the news, right?
That's a good point. Word to that. Word to that.
Thank you very much, everyone. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.